The Spirit of God would have taught me to know, listen today, right from wrong. So then, today, friend, the Bible says to be sure, your sins will find you out. Whatever's done in secret will be shouted on the housetop. Friend, I want you to realize today there's reality in serving God. There's joy in serving God. There's peace and happiness in serving God. I want you to realize today that, listen, one writer said like this. He said, whether I live or whether I die, it's Christ. What do you mean? What did Paul mean when he said that? Whether I live or whether I die, that it's in Christ. Listen today, it's exactly what sometimes I worry that we have forgot. Sometimes I worry that we forget to tell people, listen, that having Jesus in life is a lot better to them than just coming to church on Sunday and having a good meeting and staying after for dinner and going home. Listen today, He'll help you in all things. He'll guide you. He'll help you out. Brother Bill, when I was in school and in college, I'd have a test. And I'd study and I'd pray God to help me to pass that. And you know He would. I don't care what you think about that, but He would. Listen today. He'll help you and He'll guide you in all things. Listen today. One writer, as I begin to say, he began to be gouged from the left to the right. And listen today, and this is what you have to get to. Church, I want to say like this to you. If you're here today, you're going to have to get like this too. All of God's children. Listen, friend, I'm not accountable to you. You're not to me. And this writer, when he stopped and he said, "Oh, friend, listen, as for me, I'm going to let others do as they may. But as for me in my house, I'm going to serve the Lord." Listen, today somebody said, "Well, I've heard that preached all my life. What's so important about that?" That was one of the great statements ever made. Listen, I'll let others do as they may. But as for me in my house, I'm going to serve the Lord. Listen, it wasn't talking about that natural home. It wasn't talking about my home up in Cincinnati, Ohio. It wasn't talking about your home in Waverly. Listen, that's going to crumble away one of these days. Listen, this house that you look at, it's going to crumble away. Listen, what do you mean? Listen, today, the Bible said, though this earthly tabernacle, it be dissolved, we have a builder eternally into the heavens. Listen, today, somebody said, what do you mean this earthly tabernacle? Listen, today, not all of us is like some of these sisters over here still looking as young as always. Listen, today, but we're still going all the ways of the earth. Listen, friend, listen, today, but I'm not worried about tomorrow. I'm not worried about this evening. Listen, today, and listen, pray and pray hard. Listen, today, Brother Billy, pray and pray hard. Listen, today, why? Listen, because listen, I want to preach here today. Listen, now that you got me listen, today, and I'm trying to get away from there, but if it be all right, I want just to start right here. Listen, a man that is born of woman is just a few days and full of trouble. Listen, a man that's born of woman is just a few days and full of trouble. Friend, he cometh forth like the flowers. Listen, today, listen, and is cut down. He fleeth also as a shadow, and continue not. Listen, today, friend, how many of you here, listen, have saw, listen, out by the creek, you'll see things that'll float, the bubbles that come up, they'll float, some of them a long way down the stream, and then some of them will float just a little little ways and they'll burst. Let me tell you something. Every day of my life, just about, listen, I stand and I watch mothers and fathers and I've watched children go by the caskets on their loved ones. Listen, and you may have heard me say this before, but you're going to hear me say it again. Listen, and when they go by, listen, they look in and they say, oh, come back, come back. Listen, they'll look in and say, I don't want to live, it's over with. Listen, friend, if in this life only we had hope, we'd be most men miserable. Listen, I've seen mothers cry to their children and say, they're gone forever. Let me tell you something, friend. If you don't have Jesus in your life, you'll feel like it's the end. But I'll tell you one thing, friend. This world don't have a whole lot to offer. Listen, as far as happiness go, but I'll declare to you one thing. Oh, Jesus, He's got the greatest offering that ever been you. Listen, somebody said, oh, what is He got, preacher? Listen, I'll tell you what He got. Listen, my Father, He owns the cattle on 1,000 hill. He owns the gold and silver and everything. Listen, He owns all it. And it is the Father of me. Listen, and Brother Charlie was talking. Listen, it is the Father's good pleasure to give to you. You see, somebody said, well, He don't want to give to us. Yes, He does. I don't know about you, brethren, but I'll declare to you, Jesus, He wants to give us all that we can hold. No wonder He said, bring all your tithe into the storehouse and see that I won't pour you out a blessing that your cup can't attain. I like that song. I'm drinking from my saucer. A wine, drinking from your saucer. Oh, because my cup is ran over. Listen, and no wonder David said, listen, today, thou anointest my head with oil. Have you ever had your head anointed with oil? Listen, I'm not talking about Crisco oil. Listen, oh friend, today I'm talking about that heavenly manna that comes down from God. Listen, and when He anoints your head with oil, He said He anoints my head with oil, and my cup, it runs over. I don't know about you. Listen, somebody said, well, today, friend, I'm going to keep it all right in my saucer. No. Listen, oh, today, listen, I remember when I was lost and running and down. Listen, and it began to shower. Listen, that oil, it began to flow. It flowed right out. It began to touch me a little bit. What did it want you to do, Jason? Oh, friend, I knew there was something different about it. I knew there was something different. And it flooded my soul. Listen, and I desired that. Listen today, but let's get back. He fleeth also as a shadow, and continue not. And doest thou open thine eyes upon such a one, and bringest to me, listen, into judgment with thee. Listen, who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean thing? Listen, today, listen, somebody said, I can. No, you can. Listen, no, you can. It's not yours. It's not yours. Listen, it's all Jesus Christ who can make, listen, a clean thing out of an unclean thing. Listen, oh, today, listen, there was a man one time. He said, I'll go down and I'll die in the room, and in their stead, when that blood, when it drew, when it came down, that's what will wash you. Listen, I want to say to you here, listen, by the authority of this book, if you've been somewhere and they told you, come down here, listen, and repeat after me. Friend, you're still lost. Listen, if you went somewhere and they sprinkled you with water, listen, and told you you're clean, you're still lost. Listen, I'll declare, listen, you must be born again by the Spirit of God. Listen, today you must be born again, washed with what? With the blood of Jesus Christ. Listen, I'll tell you what, Job began to say then, seeing his days are determined, and the number of his months are with me. Thou hast appointed his bounds, and he cannot pass. Listen, today I'll declare, listen, when I go to leave this whole world, Sister Jackie, listen, today I'm going to leave it. And Brother Bill, it don't matter how many doctors are around. It don't matter how hard my family holds my hand. Listen, oh, listen, today I'll be willing to say farewell to earth. And listen, I'm going home. Listen, there ain't nothing going to keep me here. Listen, why? Because I've had my eyes set on. And listen, today I want to say like this. And here's what I want to get down to. He said, if a man die, shall he live again? You know, we read these things and people wonder sometimes, listen, how will you live again? Listen, well, there was a man one time. His name was Nicodemus. Listen, and the Bible said he was a young ruler. Will you have that today? Listen, and listen, he went to Jesus, and when he went there, listen, here's what he done. He said, good master, listen, today he asked him the question, didn't he? Listen, what did he want to know? Listen, today, friend. Now, listen, boys, some of you may not like this. It may not be what you call deep doctrine. Listen, I think sometimes some want to try to prove how much they know, and really all they do is prove how much they don't know. Listen, today I want to tell people that, listen, today there is a way to get Jesus. We've told people all our days of our life. A brother told me, crawl until your pants legs is worn out. Listen, we've told people, you got to go hide away. I'm going to tell you what, friend, you may never want to hear this again, but I'll declare to you, Jesus said, oh, the day that you give me your whole heart, soul, mind, and strength, I'll be found with you. Don't tell my daughter, brethren, that she has to go 3 years. Listen, don't tell my daughter that she has to, listen, give up this and give up that. You let her and God work that out. I'll tell you what, I want to tell the men and women, listen, Brother D, that, listen, listen, I want to tell men and women that, listen, that you will be obedient to what He leads you to do. Listen, somebody said, well, I was in church when God saved me. Brother Toby, listen, I've seen people say that, and I've seen some frown and think, oh no, church is just a place to rejoice and then go home. I'm going to tell you what. Listen, today, if God is knocking at your door here, listen, there is no better place than to say, Jesus, I need you. I want you in my life. Listen, somebody said, you mean I can do that? Listen, I'll say like this to you, and you may not like this, but I met a man one time, listen, that told me, I was telling Brother Billy, he said, Brother Jason, my experience I have to tell. Listen, some may not like. Listen, but I've been praying. Listen, I've been searching. Listen, and I've prayed. I've went and I've done all these things I've heard people say they've done, and I've not got nowhere. He said, the last Sunday in church, and he listened to this, and I know if the Spirit connects, you'll have it. He said, last Sunday in church, I began to pray, and God told me, I love that, and God told me, you'll never go wrong when God tells you, and you're obedient. Listen, he said, God told me just to raise my hand. Listen, and he said, and when I did, that burden I had, it left and gone. went it away. And listen, somebody said, you mean he got saved like that? Listen, was it raising his hand that saved him? Listen, was it that good or was it that saved him? Listen, no. Oh, it was because Jesus spoke and he obeyed. Listen, the obedient shall eat the good of the land. Listen, and obedience is better than sacrifice, and to hearken in unto the pattern of the ram. I want you to realize today, don't worry about where you came from. Don't worry about who's to your left or who's to your right. But my friend, if you're lost today, you worry about, wanting Jesus more than anything. Brother D, I don't have nothing new to bring here today. I don't have nothing, no different tale. Listen, what do you have to tell, Jason? Oh, Jesus, He loves you more than anything upon this earth. He gave His life for you and shed His blood freely. Friend, I'll tell you one thing, and I know this beyond a shadow of a doubt. You talked about knowing things. I don't know it all here. Some people say I do, but I don't, Brother Hill. But if there's one thing I know, today, in my darkest moment in my life, Jesus was there. When troubles came that I couldn't find an answer, He was there. And I'll tell you one thing, friend, if you're here today and you're saved, and you may say, well, preacher, my boat is drifted away far. I don't feel the warmth that I once felt. I don't feel the feeling that I once had in my life. Today, it's not, no one's fault but your own. Somebody said, oh no, my neighbor caused me to say something bad to him. My schoolmates caused me, I did not like him no more. My husband said, I'm getting too ugly. I had to leave him. Friend, there's no excuse for letting your ship drift too far off. I'll tell you what, but I'll declare to you one thing. And here's what will happen to you, friend, and you young people especially. Listen to me. It's the old Baptists. I really never knew how to cradle the young people. They've always thought that, listen today, that will raise their life and not all they wanted to do. And God saved them as an old man or old woman. They forgot about how it was. But it didn't mean nothing to them back then. But I've got news for you today. I'm glad there's a God and there's a leader. I'm glad that David said, He is my leader, He's my saddle, and He's my God. Yea, though I walk through the valley and shadow of death. And you'll hear them at the cemeteries when we go, Brother Adair. They'll stand there and they'll read that about every time, the 23rd Psalm. And they're standing there and they're like, well, here they came down to this point. Yea, though I walk through the valley and shadow of death. I want to tell you something, brother, today. Jason started walking through that valley. Sure did. In that shadow of death. When he came from his mother's womb, years ago. Jason, every day, we're walking right in that valley in the shadow of death. Last night, after the window of your son and daughter went on and said, Mom, I love you. I'll see you tomorrow. Mom, I'll see you tonight. And they never made it home. Why? Death came to them. Friend, I want you to realize you don't have a promise of tomorrow. You don't have a promise of that you'll live to see that day that you've got longing for. Listen, there's been a many son and daughter that couldn't wait to graduate this past year from high school, and great preparation was made, but death came to their door. Listen, before that time comes, but I'll declare to you, I want our people to know, Brother Toby, I want all people to know, listen, in death comes to your door, and you love Jesus. It might be sad for those share the friendless son. The crossing will be sweet to know that you're going to meet Him on the other side.
Yeah, sir.
So, what do you mean? What do you mean? My ship is out there. Where? How in the world do I get back? Brother D, somebody said, well, I've never had that happen to me. Better than me. Listen, what do you mean, preacher? I'm talking about when you don't go to church on Sunday. You say, I'll miss this Sunday. Well, next Sunday seems a little easier to miss. Then, the next Sunday, well, the ball game's on. I'll go next. Listen. The friends say, come, we're going to have a Bible study. I'll come next time. Come, we're all going to sit down and sing. No, I'll go next time. Yeah. You just keep on next time and next time and... listen, how can we sing a song in a strange country? Friend, you get in a strange country, you won't be able to sing. No. Yeah, I'm not talking about from these books here. I'm talking about, you ever heard that song? Sometimes my hopes are little, I almost lay them by. Sometimes they are sufficient if I were called to die. Sometimes I go to church and I wish I'd stayed at home. All this time today, friend, how many times have you went to church and the woman next to you, the man next to you, tears are just draining down their eyes. Why? Because they're enjoying Jesus. And you look to your left, you look to your right, and you think, these people are crazy. I'm not feeling a thing. I'm not feeling a thing. Yeah, you got that right. You're not feeling a thing. But listen, here's what I want to get to you. When your ship is out there and it's rocking, I want you to look back. You'll always see a lighthouse. How many here ever heard that song? I thank God for the lighthouse all this time. I thank God for the lighthouse. There's been many a time, Brother Dave. When I was out my ship, moving and tossing, Brother D, friend, listen. Listen, I look back and I see the lighthouse and them lights shining bright. Listen, somebody said, well, what about the storms of life? My Jesus, He's right in the eye of the storm. He can calm any raging water. He can calm any heartache. Because He is still in control. He is still in control. Parents, when your children come to you at the age of 11 years old, or whatever age, and they say, I'm worried about going to hell. I'm worried about my soul. Brother Toby, there was a time we was taught to, you're too young for that. Let me tell you something, friends. I don't say no one's too young for Jesus. They're willing enough and they know in their heart to want to have Him. I really never wanted Him because I just thought I was His anyways before I ever came to the age of accountability. That wasn't entered in my mind, Brother D. Because I knew Jesus, there wasn't a time Mom taught us, Brother D, that if something happened or you had a pain and whatever would be the problem, just tell Jesus about it. That's the way we were raised, brother. We were raised up the sun come up in the morning. Listen, Jesus blessed it to come up. We were raised if the garden grew. Jesus blessed it to grow. We were raised, listen, if food was on the table. Mothers, listen, if food was on the table, that Jesus blessed it to get there. Nowadays, Brother Bill, no, I worked all week for that. Listen, you didn't do nothing that God didn't bless you to do. Listen, and we're living in a land where, Brother D, instead of people calling you and saying, I'm sorry, I love you, or can we work it out? What do? You'll be going down, you'll feel your hip begin to vibrate. Listen, they don't put pacemakers in hips, boys. Listen, and you'll open it up, and it'll be a text message. Listen, and you read it. Friend, let me tell you something. Listen, you can write all you want to. Listen, but I've never found a time, Brother Bill, if I thought that I needed to talk to you about, listen, anything, I'd pick up and call you. We're becoming a mute society where the warmness is even going out of our churches. People are texting in church. People are letting their kids play Game Boys and all this in church. Oh, we want to make them happy. Let me tell you something, friend. We may not have listened every time we went, but we have to be good at church, Sister Jackie. We had 3 rows at the Little Lady Church House in the back, and we sat there. This time we can play. We can run around like this, but we better not get too loud. And this time, nowadays, they'll bring their Game Boys. They'll bring all kinds of stuff to eat. They'll bring all this. Boy, we was hungry when the meeting got over. And listen today, why? Because they want to keep them occupied. Listen today, and I look back and I see people, they're either playing word game or they're texting on their phone during church. Let me tell you something, friend. And years ago, we'd go to church. We'd be lucky to get out by 1 or 2. Is that right, brother? Will you have that, Brother Billy? You have to amen it if you want. It's all right anyhow. And listen today, friend, here's what I want to say to you. Listen, what happened to us? What happened to us? No, we couldn't, Brother Bill, when we were little like that, we didn't understand everything they were preaching. We didn't understand everything they said. Isaac Hannah used to come, and I remember when I'd see him get up, and I thought, Lord, Lord, we're going to starve to death. And he's wearing me out. And then when I got older and got to understanding things, I love to hear it. You remember that? You know how that is? Now, because then when Brother Ison would get done, Brother Richard Staten would get up at 5 minutes and the house go blow off. Listen, and that was always good today. But here's what I'm getting at. Everybody not everybody was live hamburgers. Not everybody was John preachers and things. Everybody had their own gift in their own way. I know one thing, that when the Spirit of God began to ring about the house, you talk about a domino effect. I can remember many times looking and seeing people, it hit them just all, and it all began to flow. Listen today, and let me tell you something, us kids in the back, here's what would happen. Now somebody said, well, now you really know that for sure. Yes, I know it for sure because I done it. I experienced it. You let someone get up and get blessed, and us kids, there was many a time we'd be playing with our cars. We'd be doing this and that. But you let someone get up and get blessed, we'd raise our head and turn to see. We always loved to see Brother Ivory Sowers get in the stand because we knew it was a short time. That there was a sound, a pretty sound. Somebody said, well, there's nothing in the sound. I want to tell you what. There's something in the sound. There's something in the sound. Oh, friend, when you begin to sing that song, How Great Thou Art. Did your soul rejoice because it was Brother Billy Hay there singing it? No. Why did you begin to rejoice? Oh, listen, I remember when I was down and out, when I was lost, and I thought of my Savior, how great you are, how great you are. Listen, that He came along, and you know how great He still is, friend. He is an awesome God today, and I want to commend people. I don't care what your problem might be in life, and it may sound plumb stupid to a lot of others. I've had stupid problems maybe with you, Brother Billy, but I'm going to tell you one thing, son. I never had a problem that I took to Jesus that He didn't think was stupid. And if it was, you know what He done? He teach me from it. That's why I said, well, preacher, today I'm in trouble. My wife has left me, my husband's left me, my kids don't want nothing to do with me. Listen, and I go to church and all this, and I pray and pray, and God just won't do nothing about it. Listen, just hold right still. Just hold right still. Listen, I'll declare to you, if you're His, you just wait. How many heard that song here today? Listen, that He's 4 days late, but He's right on time. Have you heard that? Have you heard that song? Listen today. If you're having a problem in your life, just sit still. Just wait a little bit. I never found a time that when people had a problem that Jesus appeared just like that. Listen, He had to travel, boys, when He heard of something, didn't He? He came there to Lazarus. They got mad at Him. Lord, if you'd have been here, our brother would not have died. Listen, by now He's standing. Listen, and then that man said, my child is dying. Jesus, I need you to come to my house. I need you to come. When do you want Him to come? I want you to come right now. Listen, did Jesus go right then? Oh, no. He said, don't worry about your child. It's all right. It's all right. When he got home, listen, he said, babe, about what time was it? The child was better. Listen, what time was it? And she told him, it was about the 11th hour, but it was about the 11th hour. Bless the good Lord today. You know what he thought in his mind? Here's what he thought, Brother Dick. He thought, that's when I was talking to Jesus. And he said everything would be all right. What about that? Listen today, friend, He may not move right now for you. He may not move right now when you want Him to. But I'll declare to you, when He moves, it'll be right on time. And you'll be happy. Come on. Come on.
You'll be glad.
I'm not done, but I'll come back down some other time. I'll give you a heads up next time. Listen, friend, if you're happy today, don't be ashamed to express it. Somebody said, well, I don't want to disturb nobody. I'm going to tell you what. I remember this sister right here when she began to shout. When I came down here years ago, listen, she rang that bell back there. And I'll just be honest with you, I'd never saw a church bell in no regular Baptist church. And I thought, Lord have mercy. And listen, today, and she went back and she began to pull that. Yeah, I think he was the first one to have pulled it that night. Listen, today, and I thought, how beautiful, how beautiful. You know what, brother? Today, you may not shine your shoes. I may not shine mine. It's yours. But I can guarantee you one thing. Our shoes that we'll have on in the morning, they'll be just as pretty as everybody else's.
I won't be warm.
Oh, friend, it'll be joy. It'll be happiness no matter what. And if you want to go, get ready today. Young people, tomorrow may not come. I thought of this brother here that's sitting out here. I saw his son back here, and I asked him, was he your boy? And he said, yeah. And I said, you look just like your dad years ago. He said, that's what everybody says. Listen, today, listen, I want to tell you something, friend. It's good to see the generations. He said, listen, His blessings, His mercy are upon those that fear Him from generation to generation. Listen, Brother Tommy didn't impound church into you all and impound all that just because it was something he wanted to do. He didn't just impound that in you all. I said, impound, what do you mean? There was a time that he had to impound it in you. Because, why? Because you like darkness rather than light. And you won't come to the light unless your deeds be reproved. But when you came to the light, what did you do? What did you do when you came to the light? Oh, Jesus! This is the greatest day I've ever had in my life. Listen, because your light shine bright. Listen, somebody sings that song, My Old Kentucky Home. Listen, shine, shine, shine. I'm going to tell you what, that light that shines is far better than that. I saw that light shining. Listen, it's a light, it's the star that led the wise men. Listen, it's the light that shined to Saul and brought him down. It's the light, that lights the whole world. Listen, bless the Lord. We'll need no sun in glory land, for Jesus Himself is going to be the light of that city. And I want to say like this. When I saw these young people, I want to say like this to you guys. You've done something right. You've done something right. We live in a world anymore where it's so easy for people to just look at you and say, what have we done? We ain't doing no good. We ain't doing no good. We've done wrong. We just don't have it no more. We just don't.
Brother Cody's been doing wrong.
I'm going to tell you something, Brother Cody. The day that you die,